All right, let's dive right into something pretty fascinating, the Modern Mystery School. Now, just hearing that title, you kind of have to pause, right? Modern and Mystery School. How can something be brand new and ancient at the same time? Well, that's the exact paradox we're going to unpack together. So let's start with a question that, honestly, I think we all wrestle with. We are just drowning in information. It's on our phones, our computers, it's everywhere, 24/7. But you know as well as I do, information isn't wisdom, not even close. So in this endless ocean of data, where do we even begin to look for something truly meaningful? I love this quote because it sets the whole tone. It's telling us that the wisdom we're looking for, it's not something we have to invent. It's timeless. The real work is finding a new way to hear those truths that have been echoing through time forever. And that leads us perfectly into our first section here, Modern Mystery, Ancient Truth. We're going to see how these powerful streams of wisdom never actually disappeared. They were just carefully protected, waiting for the right time to reemerge in a way we can use today. You know, at the very core of all of this is something fundamentally human. I mean, since the dawn of time, people have been searching for meaning, for purpose, for those keys that unlock who we really are and what our place is in this crazy universe. That search is what started these traditions in the first place. Okay, but with so many different spiritual paths and teachers out there, how do you know what's legit? And that brings us to this really cool, really important idea in our second section, the unbroken golden thread. Think of it like a spiritual seal of authenticity, the thing that proves the teachings have real power. So, what in the world is an unbroken lineage? Well, the best way to think about it is like a clean, flowing river. It starts from a pure source way up in the mountains. As long as that river flows freely, the water stays fresh and alive. But if you dam it up, it gets stagnant. It's the same with spiritual knowledge. It needs a direct, continuous flow from the original source to stay potent. It's a living energy, not just some old story. And preserving this energy wasn't simple. It took a really smart, layered approach. You had the oral tradition, stories and teachings passed down verbally to keep them dynamic. You had sacred texts and symbols, which held the blueprints. But crucially, you had to experience it. That's the experiential learning part. And finally, initiation, the actual energetic handing over of the keys, connecting you to that lineage. And this, right here, is the absolute key. We're not talking about memorizing facts or acing a test. This kind of wisdom is a living energy. It's a spark that gets passed from one person to the next, lighting up the same potential in each and every person who receives it. It's alive. Now, this whole idea of a living lineage, it's not new, not by a long shot. So for our third section, let's become detectives for a minute and trace these echoes from ancient schools and see just how deep these roots go. Seriously, this isn't some new age invention. You can follow the thread right back through history. It was there in ancient Egypt, where the priests were the guardians of cosmic knowledge. It flowed right into ancient Greece with the Pythagorean school, where they used things like math and music to understand the universe. And of course, there were the famous Eleusinian mysteries, where people had these incredibly profound, life-changing experiences. And what's so wild is that all these schools, scattered across time and space, they all operated on similar principles. They all valued secrecy to protect what they had. They taught in stages. You had to earn your way to the deeper stuff. They all stressed the importance of self-discipline. And the end goal was always the same, to connect the student directly with something divine. That pattern is the golden thread. So we've seen the ancient roots. Awesome. But how did all of that get to us, right now? Well, that brings us to section 4, a bridge to today, and the person who built that bridge. And that person is Gudni Gudnason. Now, his whole mission wasn't to create something new. It was to act as a kind of modern-day transformer for this incredibly ancient lineage that goes all the way back to King Solomon, and to make its eternal truths practical and usable for us in the 21st century. And he did this by bringing through actual, tangible tools and systems, things like the life activation, which is an energy session that basically wakes up your spiritual potential. He breathed new life into universal Kabbalah, making the tree of life a real map for your own growth. He also made things like sacred geometry and alchemy practical, with this huge emphasis on you being in charge of your own life, on your personal sovereignty. Which brings us to our last section, and really, the part that matters the most for you, igniting your inner spark. Because what's the point of all this ancient history if you can't use it?
It's all been translated into tools you can apply to your modern life.
So what's the payoff? What's in it for you? Well, these tools are all designed to help you know yourself better, to turn up the volume on your intuition, to help you heal from old wounds and patterns, to really empower you to create the life you want, and to build up your resilience so you can handle whatever comes your way. Okay, but let's be real for a second. This is super important. While the lineage gives you this incredible support system, there's no magic button you can press. It still comes down to your personal effort, your discernment, and your commitment to actually using this stuff in your day-to-day life. That's where the real transformation happens. So we've followed this incredible golden thread of wisdom from ancient temples right into the modern world. We've seen how it's been kept safe and made available for us today. And all of that leaves us with just one final, really important question. How will you connect to your own golden thread?